Come snow, come sleet, or iron hail gunners. It took a while to work my way here logically, but you've been asking me to show how to make use of this unit. What I learned was kind of funny really. With Miao Ying especially, it's not like you need tons of them for their best and most important job. Because, ironically, the more you bring, the more their shortcomings come out to play ball. The range is restrained, and they're vulnerable to pressure despite being a gunpowder unit, and often crossbows operating at longer ranges are showing higher total damage scores on your side. But that's deceptive. When a unit needs to be smashed here and now, a hail of iron reduces a skullcracker to scrap. Recruited for 500 gold and 125 upkeep, meaning that this unit is actually a fair bit more affordable than Jade Warrior Crossbows, which, as I have mentioned, are very versatile and hard to mess up. You get the same 90 entities and 6010 health between them as the Crossbows, but armor is only 30 in this case, and it's not going to get Jade-specific buffs in the tech tree. Leadership of 50 is straddling the line of okayness. Speed 33 and Chart Speed 40 are important mostly for repositioning. Melee attack is 16 to start, and not meant to be relied upon. Attack interval 4.3 seconds, no splash damage. Melee defense is like the Jade Warrior Crossbows, but with a lot less armor to work with. So that's melee defense 16. Weapon strength 24, split base 21, and armor piercing 3 is the same, so it'll resist some zombie melee attacks, not that you want it to have to. Charge bonus is 6 and mass is 90. For ranged, ammunition is the healthy standard of 22 volleys, range of 90 meters. Each flechette does base 3 and armor piercing 11 upon impact, but this blunderbuss style weapon fires 3 such projectiles per shot, so the musket style trajectory carries a ton of potential for armor shredding. Reload time 13 is no better or worse than the crossbow unit. Total accuracy is the standard 20, calibration distance 55 meters, means it loses accuracy and tightness easily past that. Calibration area 1.8 meters means it's far more tightly clustered than crossbows against specific targets, such as charging ogres, but remember that phrase beyond 55 meters, and that's a pretty short distance. There is no multi-target penetration, but as I've said, dead entities stop note flechettes. Yin Battle Harmony means you can get leadership plus 4, speed plus 4% for repositioning, and reload skill 12 up to a Dragon Lord enhanced leadership plus 8, speed plus 8%, and reload skill plus 24. I want you to treat the reload skill buff as mandatory for the unit to do its job. It's safer to think that way. Whether it's your actual middle-of-the-line unit or further inside a cavity in a melee line, it needs the buff. For the redline skills, 3 pips in Eastern Fires grants ammunition plus 20% and missile strength plus 8%. Now, ammunition is irrelevant unless you were running out of it. This can be a tough ask for a short-range unit that is more likely to be shot to pieces or outright dominate the battle long before the ammo runs out, but hopefully the latter happens because the shrapnel got stronger. For rank 7 and above, it is actually fast hands at work like for the previous units for missile strength plus 6%, reload time reduction 10%, which is hugely welcome, and missile resistance 15%, badly needed against enemy fire. In the tech tree, Moon Reflecting starts us off with leadership plus 4 and missile strength plus 10%, and we love that. Fletching Mentors does nothing for this unit. Instead, Jagged Shrapnel gives range plus 10% and armor-piercing missile damage plus 3. Now, yes, this affects Nangao Grenadiers too, but as you recall, I said Arm Hail Gunners fire 3 projectiles per shot, and this flat improvement applies to each of those projectiles individually. That which was 11 becomes 14, before missile strength multiplies the result. This increases the threat level of the unit, and more range is absolutely welcome. Less accurate won't matter against rampaging orc hordes. Just fire in the general direction and you're okay. Yin Defense slaps on a badly needed armor plus 10 and leadership plus 6, and Yin Hex as plus 4 melee defense and recruit rank and upkeep improvements too. Don't discount inner speed for plus 20% speed though. Repositioning can be a life or death situation. So how do we use Iron Hail Gunners? My experience with Miao Ying, who has a recruit rank and damage buff for them on top of ammunition plus 20% faction-wide, and borderline broken reload time reduction help late in her skill tree, is that they can do shockingly good work as your de facto front line. but I don't do this with a ton of them. A couple backed by her starting units, and a few modest additions flanked by Yang units and a bit of hero screening. It's very tough on a lot of enemies since she starts with 2 crossbows and 1 Celestial Dragon crossbow unit. 2. A lot of potential weaknesses are covered. Yeah, they're getting shot. Yeah, they're taking damage. That leadership climbs a lot, so the enemy has to do a lot to actually break them. And as for the damage, folks, this is a lot of damage. It's not like you stopped doing the other kinds of damage, so adding this kind of dramatic spike will turn customers away and make them flee the shop. You didn't want their business anyway. So this isn't simply about winning the battle or even about killing the units. It's breaking them, doing such a huge spike in their faces that they just can't hold it together. This is not limited to the Cathay model, but this kind of unit generally. Blunderbusses, Grudge Rakers, Hand Cannons for Vampire Coast is basically an anti-large unit without telling you that it is. Targeting the broadside of a Hell Pit Abomination means a lot fewer misses and a lot more of your high theoretical damage actually going into the target. Remember, the default was calibration area 1.8 meters, even with a natural spread from the triple shot. That's going to get tighter with veterancy, albeit a little worse with extra distance. So even by the standards of the Cathay roster, the Iron Hail Gunner is vicious as a boss killer, dragon shredder, and all-purpose nightmare for enemies wanting a nice relaxed time dishing out their damage in melee. Flying enemies are just as vulnerable at the ranges that the Iron Hail Gunners prefer. Now, the problem with this being, it's not hard to outrange them, and there are a lot of options for cramming them at close range, and since they're not zombies, they can run, they can rout, and since they're not Chaos Dwarfs, they'll melt faster than a lot of those other options. It's a programmed weakness that you need to work around. On the upside, it's not even an expensive unit. The damage output you can theoretically get is really high. For expanding further, besides raw magical support, the Alchemist's area of effect buffs range from okay to fantastic for them, with the piercing damage buff especially formidable. But just the presence of magical attack radically increases their value against Chaos Demons generally. And, for specialized situations, Flaming Attack may bypass their best damage source for the input numbers, but Flaming Attack against a vulnerable target is a powerful multiplier that'll make every armor-piercing shrapnel hit that much deadlier. That and Gate Masters with contagious range increases help a lot, and for the one other bugbear, shielded units, Crane Gunners and even the humble Sky Lantern dish out Shield Breaker to make breaking those units even faster. Like I said, you don't even necessarily want a lot of them because being outranged is bad, but as long as you have that cover, a couple in a key place can do a lot to make your army tougher against thorny threats. You need to burn Tamarkan down to ashes? They're vulnerable to his tricks too, but the damage gets you in the game. Please like, subscribe, and tell me what you think to help me level up this channel. Take care, and have fun bringing inclement weather to the enemy's apex predators.